This episode of the podcast is brought to you by the UK's #1 coral selling website, prestigereef.co.uk and reefdork.etsy.com for all your 3D printed aquarium accessory needs. Tube! Hello everybody, welcome to the Prestige Reef Dork show. The good news is that the cricket is just finishing and England are about to wrap up a very impressive win against the West Indies. So I'm not going to be distracted for more than the first 2 minutes of the live stream.
Okay.
I know you're very excited about the cricket, Ryan.
Clearly.
All the Americans in the chat as well can't get enough of the stuff. So
you're almost as excited as everyone is about the crowns they've got in the chat. Do you want to explain that to people?
Yeah, I can't.
We don't know.
So it doesn't show on the software, so you won't be able to see it. But on the live stream chat thing on YouTube, there are little crowns appearing by people. They're all different colours, and it says crown #1, like so number 1, crown number 2, crown number 3. I presume that's based on how many comments that you make on the live stream or something, or like points. Someone was saying XP, something to do with points or something. I don't know.
Anyway,
so I don't know.
It out in the chat, let us know.
Yeah, I'm guessing maybe try, because if it's comments equals more crowns or whatever, then the more you comment, the more crowns you get. Maybe it's super chats. So maybe you need to do £1,000 super chat and see what it does then, because that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Ryan's not interested.
No, I've just added another one to my list, and it's one that both you and I definitely disagree on. So.
Oh, I see. Oh, here we go. Community 75x. Yeah, so you can click on the community leaderboard. Tekka's Reef is #1. Andy Angel #2. John Wright #3. 75. But yeah, okay, there you go. So it's something to do with. But I think that must be from today only, because I don't know. Anyway, whatever. There you go. Well done for your points.
Okay.
Yes, so Ryan, we're talking today about Marmite fish, kind of.
Yeah.
And this is basically because you hate the Scarus koi.
No, I didn't say I hated them. I did. I don't understand their appeal. Is my personal opinion on them. They don't look like normal fish. Like all of your fish are thin, and then you've got this one chunky one swimming around.
Torpedo. It's shaped like a trout, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mackerel,
and they can be pretty, like, you get obviously different color variations of them. Some of them are more drab than others, but for me, they're just a no. They're like this big bulky thing that swims around and knocks corals over. So
yeah, it'll do well to knock my corals over, but they're just, look at his smiley little face. You can't, the lighting just makes him look a bit miserable there, but he's got this big smiley grin on his face.
Yeah,
and it's brilliant. This is him in the acclimation box last weekend. He's out now. He's out and swimming around in the tank. It's funny because I also bought 2 more fish this week.
He's Alex is like right back at it now.
yeah. I'll go on to that in a sec. But I bought 4 more fish, and the intention was to put them in an acclimation box and just let them chill for it. So I bought a pair of rhomboid wrasse, and with those 2, I was really keen to put them in the acclimation box. The other 2 fish I bought were a Midas blenny and a mandarin. So they can probably just hide and look after themselves. Wouldn't be the end of the world. But the rhomboid wrasse, the 2 wrasses, I was like, just keep them in there and let's just give them a weekend to settle. So I fished them out of the bucket that I was drip acclimating them in, because the salinity was way off on when they came in. It was 30 parts per thousand, and 35 is what it should be. Anyway, so it's a bit low. Anyway, I fished them out of the bucket, and the acclimation box was in the tank. I put the first one in, closed the lid, job done. Second one, I put him in, and then before I closed the lid, he swam out. And I was like, oh, and I can't just leave him on his own. So I was like, well, I might as well let the female out. So I let the female out as well. So they both.
And what you're saying is you were outsmarted by a fish.
I was outsmarted by a fish, and in fact, I was outsmarted by 2 fish, because then I put the mandarin in there, and he was fine, and I put the blenny in, turned my back, turn around again, and the blenny had swam out of the hole in the roof, which is the feeding hatch.
And the mandarin had no chance because the tank bred ones are like the size of your thumbnail, aren't they?
Tiny. Well, yeah. So to be fair, he stayed in there for the rest. I just let him out at night time when it went dark, and he seems okay. But
I just realized that fish is like a bite size. It's like a mouthful for the scarus koi, isn't it?
Oh, the scarus koi won't eat him, but I think something like the hawkfish, or maybe the angel, could have a pop at him. But definitely the hawkfish. But he's fine so far.
Yeah. What are you feeding?
Maybe they just haven't seen him. I'm currently feeding frozen.
Yeah.
But I don't know because I couldn't find him today. I can see him at various times, but when I was going to feed, I couldn't find him. So
yeah,
it's like, well, you can eat the copepods in there then.
It'll take a long time for that fish to clear out all the copepods in your tank, because obviously it's so small that it doesn't need the same amount of food as one of the wild ones that come in. That have to eat. I mean, it still has to eat all the time, but it will be a long time before it wipes out the entire population, I believe.
Yeah, he's got a bit of competition, but even when I've been in there at night time with a red torch on, you can see there's pods everywhere.
Yeah.
So I think he'll be all right, but I don't know. We'll find out.
I don't know if you can still get them. I used to feed my mandarin lobster eggs because they're like millions, not millions, but like thousands and thousands of them, and nothing can eat all of them. And eventually they settle on the floor, and it just goes around picking them all up.
That's why I don't like lobster eggs though, because they just go everywhere, and
corals like it.
Yeah, maybe. I just always feel like I'm just feeding my protein skimmer basically, or feeding my filter roller. But yeah, maybe I should get them because you can get them from time to time.
Yeah. Fish eggs are the other one that comes up more regularly, I believe, but I don't know if they eat those in the same way.
Yeah, okay. But they, I don't know. I've been feeding a bit more variety lately, which is very much a good thing, of course. So, and I've always historically I just chuck myces in, like there you go. And then if I want to add a bit of variety, I throw 2 cubes of myces in.
Okay, yeah.
But so at the moment I feed myces still, of course, because it's good. But I also feed spirulina flakes. I feed seaweed pellets, the hikari seaweed pellets.
Yeah.
And I feed nori. And I just bought a couple of different red nori and purple nori today to go with the green nori. So I'm just going to try to mix up a little bit. And nori is a pain in the ass, so I don't feed it every day. A couple of times a week maybe. But I think that's better if I've got a bit of vegetation, a bit of fiber, a bit of protein, I think that's a good thing.
When we were at Love to Reef, the TMC rep gave me these little sample testable food things, and I thought, oh well, I'll give them a go, and I put them in the coral farm with the Soho Tang. The fish, because they're like an easy version of mastic because you stick them to the tank. It did make quite a lot of fine particulates, dust, but they absolutely demolished it. Within seconds, it was like bam, gone within seconds.
Those are the little balls that you stick on the side of the glass, right? Yeah. So I tried them before, and they just didn't. No one was interested.
I tried those before. I think there's a different recipe for them, because the original ones were brown, and now they have brown ones, green ones, and red ones. So there's obviously the green and red ones are definitely different. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised because it made it much easier to feed than to make mastic. Even the cod bands were eating it. So because they're used to eating mastic off the glass.
Yeah.
So, and anyway, just to let everyone know, I got given a free sample. So just to clarify, because you're meant to clarify when you get something. This is not an advert. I just let you know.
I mean, being given a small pot of food is one thing, but you do have to. If you're given a product, then absolutely you must. It's it's the rules, and you should want to do that anyway. But
I know, I was just joking anyway. So I know because you told me before that I had to do it. So
pot of food, you're all right. I'll let you off.
Yeah, you'll let me off for a pot of food.
But yes, so I've been feeding a bit more variety. It's going down all right. The flake stuff, the spirulina flakes, most fish go for it, but there's always some left. So I don't think they love it. Like if I just put in a little pinch, 3/4 of it will get eaten, and then the rest will get left. But I do find that most of my fish eat most of what I put in. Some don't go for their hikari seaweed pellets. But I used to get. I started with the small ones, and now I've got the medium-sized ones. The small ones they just sit on the sandbed and everybody ignores them. But the medium-sized ones, for whatever reason, they seem to be a bit more popular.
Yeah.
So,
I've never tried them, to be honest. I've always used Vitalis. I get you get like shop buckets of Vitalis, where they last literally for months and months. And that's the pellet food. In fact, I've been using Vitalis since it used to be called New Era, and I don't know why they had to change their name. It was something to do with a company in America, I think. But they used to be like, I don't know if they're still the most popular brand, but they used to definitely be the most popular brand when I first started. There's quite a few companies have brought stuff out since then, so it sort of like dilutes the market.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that stuff. So that's the let me share my screen. So I use their pellets for LPS pellets.
Yeah. I've been using their products since the tubs were black. They used to have black tubs, and then they changed them white, and that was years ago. So if anyone in the chat remembers the black, tubs, you're an old school person like me.
OG.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the nori I feed is the Julian Sprung stuff.
Yeah.
It comes in small packets. You can get small or medium or large packets. I buy the small ones, but they still last me bloody ages. There's so much in there, and like you can buy it from the supermarket for like 1/10 of the price. But
that's what I do.
It lasts ages for me anyway. So, and it's convenient. So I don't really care, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm you've encouraged me to feed more variety to my fish.
I think it keeps fish alive longer, definitely,
and healthier.
Yeah, and I just think if you have a fish that randomly dies and you're not sure why, at least you know if you're feeding a variety, at least you know you did that part right. If you see what I mean. So,
well, my favorite thing I've learned this year so far is that you get trace elements, including iodine, in nori. So if you're feeding nori, you're dosing iodine. And iodine is low in most tanks, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not always, but a lot of the time. So I'm dosing. My corals will appreciate that directly.
Yeah. I should feed it more in the coral farm. Something is weirdly, I don't know why, in one tray, just remember they're all connected in one tray, it's just started to grow a little bit of hair algae. And I'm like, this tank has been running for 4 years. I've actually lowered the phosphates. Why has hair algae started growing in just one patch on one tray? And it's the one with the big powder blue tang in it. For some reason, it just won't eat it. So I've decided I've stopped. I've actually reduced his feeding. I'm like, no. You're here to do a job for me. If you want to be fed, you want to have the good life. Do your job as well, and then you get the food.
Yeah. Okay.
So he has. Well, since I stopped feeding the tank, like I've been feeding the cop band with a pipette, just so it still gets food. Because if I just stop feeding the tank, the cop band would probably go within a couple of days.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So that's the problem. I have to like heavily feed because of all the cough bands in there. But it's since I stopped feeding it, it's gone back to eating the algae. So if you've got an algae problem and you've got tangs, you're probably feeding too much.
Right, I see. Yeah. When did you stop feeding him?
I like probably 2 days ago, 3 days ago. And he still gets a little bit of myces because some of it escapes, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
But I just thought, why are you being lazy? Stop being lazy. Yeah. Like your life's obviously too good. Although he's in a 6 foot tank, there's 6 foot by 3 foot, and he is the only tang in there. I've got a fox face in there, but they're the only two like algae control fish. So it's quite. I don't know if that is a large space enough or not, but he's like the thickest, fattest powder blue tang you've ever seen.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just don't like. No, it's not. I don't like. I just don't want a powder blue tang.
See, there you go. Another Marmite fish for us.
Yeah. Well, so the point is, this live stream is about Marmite fish, really, and this is mainly because I bought the Scarus koi this week, so I'm going to bring up again because it's just such a cool fish, which Ryan doesn't like, and I get why people might not like this fish. It's a funny thing. That's not the best video in the world. It's quite dark. But that's roughly how it looks, to be fair. It's not terrible.
Have you got a picture which actually makes it look better than it actually looks to show people why someone might want it?
Well, the photo, the thumbnail on the video is I edited that, and that looks quite good. I think that's probably the best one. Yes. But that's a really good photo actually. That shows the colours. He's got a happy face. He's got it's something about the face that I just can't get the colours right. But anyway, that is a good photo. That's not too polished. That's roughly what they look like.
The photo directly on the other side at the top is is obviously a polished photo. I've never seen one look like that.
I think that's just badly lit or something. Marine collectors, yeah, there you go. Oh, that's a good one as well. That's a little bit polished perhaps, but yeah, they're just a cool fish. They're not. I get why people. I'm not going to make the argument that they're amazing and everybody should love them, because I get it. And even with me, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know, because they're a funny shape, aren't they?
I think we should do a poll for this. I think we should. We're going to do at least 2 polls. This, because there is another fish. So Alex just got a fish which I don't particularly like, and I went 2, and I got a fish that I absolutely love. And I've tried to show it to Alex a few times in pictures and videos, even in real life, because I showed it to you in person, didn't I? And you just don't get it for some reason.
Just don't get it. So I'm posting the poll: Scarus koi parrotfish, yay or nay? I would guess most people will say nay. I think it's.
I think you have a peculiar taste in fish. I think you have a really odd taste, if I'm honest. You don't like tangs, and some of the fish that you do have are like the hawkfish you had, not the scarlet hawkfish. I get that one, and maybe the falco is an odd one. I
wasn't that taken by the falco. Yeah, I just wanted another hawkfish, but there's the long nose and the scarlet are wicked. The falco,
I've got another one as well. Remember at the start of the live stream, I was writing something, and you said, "Oh, Ryan's doing something." Orange spot rabbitfish. You love your orange spot rabbitfish. I think it's ugly.
So cool. So it's not quite. There's hang on. Orange spotted rabbit.
This will be a much better picture than what it actually. It's not an orange spot, is it? It's a different type.
Gold spot.
Yeah.
So there was a the ones that you were talking about my video from TMC, are you?
No, I'm actually talking about the one that I looked after for you. It wasn't an orange spot. I just realized.
The 2-barred rabbitfish. Yeah. Oh, he's so cool.
No,
he's so cool.
No,
disagree. Yeah, you're wrong on that. Right, we're definitely doing a poll on that.
This is just going to be a whole live stream of polls.
Yeah, basically.
If you're one of the people that doesn't usually vote, can someone vote for me, because I can't vote? So just at least one person put this is an awful fish.
Currently, the poll for the Scarus koi is 60-40 in favour of nay. I'm surprised it's that close.
Me too, actually. I thought it'd be much higher. Much less people would like it.
Reaper says not a massive fan, but it looks way better than that Dr. Seuss soapfish. Yeah. People don't like that. That's still at TMC, by the way.
I know. It's probably going to be there for a little while because it's an acquired taste. I also think it needs it's difficult
to look after as well. We were saying the other week, predator needs cold water,
poisonous. Needs cold water.
Everyone thinks it's ugly, apart from you and me.
Yeah. So it's, as I say, it's cool, but whether it's I just wonder. It might end up going to like an aquarium, or like a public aquarium or something, because that's the sort of thing that, although the public aquariums have the money, maybe.
Yeah, I'm just posting a photo on my Instagram, and I'm not going to do any comments with it or any what's it called, any hashtags. Where I'm just posting it so I can share it basically. And this is of my here we go, 2-barred rabbitfish. That's a cool fish.
It looks mostly grey. It's mostly grey with a couple of
grey.
Well, the bottom half is white, and then. I think they look washed out under blue light. That's the problem with them. That picture is taken with really white light, isn't it? You can see.
Yeah, but loads of fish look better under white lights than blue lights.
Yeah, true. But we have our fish under blue lights most of the time.
I no, I don't.
I suppose actually the water.
Nor do you.
The water box is white, but the coral farm's always blue, isn't it? So, and I saw your fish in the coral farm. Remember?
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. That's a really cool fish. I have actually I've just put it in. So this is the 2-barred rabbitfish. Don't know
have you still got it?
This guy's got 2 bars. Oh yeah, this is a photo from yesterday.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Or today maybe even. Yeah, yesterday. I think it's such a cool fish. But I changed my lights to a slightly whiter spectrum. This weekend or a couple of days ago or something like that, because I've now got a couple of fish that look better under white light.
Yeah.
In particular, the Scarus Koi. When he went in, I was like, "This got to change."
Yeah.
And I tried because I've filmed I've done a couple of tank tours for tanks recently that are a really wide spectrum.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's try how that looks on my. See if I like it. I tried it on my tank. Hate it. I just don't like it at all.
Yeah.
So I was like, no. I can't deal with that. I dialed it back, but I went like 5% whiter on my lighting for the main tank. The Cade is unchanged, and the fish do look a little bit better. And what I found is if I want to take photos, if you on Mobius, if I just set my 2 AI blades to 10,000K, that brings out the colors really nicely. All the colors are awful, but it's cool. It's 50-50 more or less. 53% yes, 52% no, 48% no. Sorry.
Oh, this for the rabbit fish.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, Steve Webb just said neither of your opinions can be taken seriously because you both like masked swallowtails. That is true. However, I like the male, and the male is the cool one.
Yeah, I want mine to turn male.
Even Alex doesn't like the females anymore.
No, I like the females. I just think mine's a bit. She just hasn't got the colours.
I don't. You've said this a few times. I just don't know what you're referring to when you say that, because both mine and yours look virtually identical. But then you talk about this mystery fish that you've seen somewhere else that looks amazing.
It's not mystery. It's no mystery at all. Hang on, I took a photo of this one today or yesterday as well. I don't know if I deleted it or something. So this is it's pretty simple, Ryan. Okay. Do you think that fish looks dark?
That is very dark. That fish, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that is not what they normally look like.
I'd love to see one. What you think they look like?
What do you mean? What I think they look like?
If you can find a picture of one, what it thinks it looks like, and show everyone, I'd be interested because I don't know what you mean.
That. Look at that bright yellow at the top. Right. So there's it's totally different. That's one.
True.
Yeah.
That is true.
And that's mine. Totally different.
Yeah, because mine's the same.
Yeah,
maybe we don't have that species.
I'm aware of that. Look, it's definitely the same fish. It's just instead of this shock of mine's got a darker belly instead of this shock of white, and it doesn't have the yellow haircut.
Yeah.
And the one I've always liked, I've seen them in the shop like that before, but the one I always liked was Reef Bum. He's got a Japanese masked swallowtail angel, a female, beautiful fish, absolutely amazing. And mine is cool. I still like it. But it doesn't look like that. And I'm hoping that it will either turn male because the males look cooler than that, or it will turn more female, if you know what I mean. And it will look better. So I'm hoping in time it'll turn. I've never seen it. And I've seen another one since then, unusually, that is the normal colour. Not quite as yellow, but
that was a TMC, wasn't it, the other day?
It was, yeah. So, yeah.
I didn't like that one.
No, I did. I like that. But
it's
it's
funny. I hadn't even noticed, but my one is quite dark on top. It does have the yellow haircut though. I think I think it does. So maybe they'll you don't know, because they came in quite large, didn't? Or they came in large. I don't know if they're full size adults, but did I win that one as well? I did.
No. Yeah? Rabbitfish 57%.
57% nay you've written?
Nope. Yay 57%, nay 42.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, yeah, I see.
Dance, my victory dance. But there are a couple of other rabbitfish that I do really like. This one in particular. Hang on, let me make him a bit bigger. What do you think about that?
Nah.
There's a yellow blotch rabbitfish for
no, not for me.
I think they're so cool. And I had a load of these at TMC the other day, and they're so cool.
I think, don't know, maybe under the right lighting they would look cool. I don't think that picture's a good look. They
will never look better than that. That is as good as you're going to get. So if you don't like that picture, you're not going to like it.
You definitely have weird taste. You definitely like
you like Melanoris wrasses.
How come you don't have a purple Tang? How come you don't have a yellow Tang? How come you don't have a Pardon?
I've had a purple Tang.
Yeah, but...
And I don't like, the only reason I don't want a yellow Tang is because they're aggressive. I don't like aggressive fish. I like Tangs. I love that mimic lemon peel.
Yeah.
When it's junior or mature. I love yellow Tangs. I love purple Tangs. There's lots of Tangs I like.
You feel like you have to defend yourself now, don't you? You're like, I do love them. I do love them.
I just don't like aggression. And it's the personality, Ryan.
The funny
I'm not
thing
as
is
superficial as you.
The funny thing is there's there's something really great about having a friend that likes the same thing as you, like fish or whatever. And but for some reason, Alex and we can talk about anything to do with fish. We can talk about. That's fine. We have polar opposite like views with regards to both fish and coral most of the time. I'll send him a picture of this lobo, which is like rainbow colored with gold around the edge, and he'll goes, meh. And I'm like, I only sent this to you because I was excited about it.
Orange and brown one. Yeah, and yeah, it's the same. Like, so the rhomboid wrasse, you're just like, I get that. It's not.
The rhomboid has potential. I can definitely see. I think it will look amazing under the right lighting, and if it looks how I think it will look, I think they'll look amazing. I don't know about the female, but the male was like looks nice.
Females is always going to be a little bit drab, so that's the female.
Yeah, that looks just like a white fish.
that's not a great photo, and even to be fair, my photo of the male is not. And this was a quick photo. That's still. If you'd said to me that's a boring fish, I'd say, yeah, that's fair enough. And then if I told you how much it cost, you'd think I've lost my mind. But
right, please do a poll on those. Please do a poll.
No, I'm not doing a poll on those. I already know the answer. I don't need to ask that question.
But if you Google them, like if the male is like showing off all their colors, they look amazing. They're like purple with streaks and everything, don't they?
So I don't really know. I think it's the terminal. I don't know if they just get they get better. If they get better colors when they're settled, or if they're happy, or if they're feeding, or whatever. But I'm sure that it's a part of it when they look the most amazing. I'm sure it's because it's in their terminal stage.
Yeah,
because the fairy wrasse do that, don't they? And that is presumably that is a terminal male. Maybe it's not. I don't know, but that is when they look awesome, and they all these funky colors. I think that's a female.
Yeah, that's what it looks like now.
There we go. Yeah, male, female. Those are probably accurate photos.
Yeah,
and I get why people would not necessarily think they're that exciting. I just think they're cool. Wrasses can be an acquired taste, to be fair.
Yeah, and I agree. For me, wrasses have to do a job. They don't do a job.
No,
so
they look cool.
Looking cool is not a job.
But the other thing they do is, and so my tank now, I've added 5 fish in the last couple of weeks. Yeah. And I need to talk about my quarantine method.
Everyone's waiting to hear about this.
Well,
so I'm just like I'm just keeping my head down.
I've added 5 fish in the last month or so, and suddenly the tank looks so much busier. It's partly because all the fish are like they're pelagic free swimming types, so they swim in the water column everywhere, and it just looks so much better. I'm much happier with my tank now than I was a month ago.
Yeah,
and I had that when there was just corals in there. There were some beautiful corals, and it was amazing. But I was just like, just not interested in it.
Oh, I know. I know exactly what you mean. There's something about the instant gratification that fish give you. So
because corals just do the same thing all day long, they just sway. Whereas fish are always moving. They're like they're doing something.
Yeah,
and they're like on the lookout for food, or like the parrotfish. Every now and then has a bit of a barney with the angelfish. The angelfish he's not aggressive. But every now and then he'll chase the parrot, and then the parrot straight away he'll swim back over. He's like, "Yeah, go on, chase me again."
Oh, it's a brave angelfish. That's like that fish, isn't it?
He's got a big old pair of set of chompers as well. Yeah. But so actually with the wrasse as well, when I let them out straight away accidentally, they were supposed to be in the acclimation box, but they escaped. And there were no issues whatsoever. My leopard wrasse chased the female for the first couple of hours, occasionally, and that's it. But now they're absolutely fine. Everybody's there's no aggression, which is not surprising from the wrasses that I've added. But I did wonder if they might get a bit of hostility from the angel or whatever, because the angel just seems, it's not like he wants to go after fish that are look the same as him. He's just a bit of a dick generally. So I think he just doesn't like other fish. Mine's
actually all right. It wasn't all right with the originally, but it's all, I think, because the king eye is the dominant one in the tank. The king actually, for the start of last week, it was a weird one. It just like every so often it will do this. It will just stop eating, but not properly stop eating. Okay. It just sort of doesn't have that much interest in food, as if it's like it will take maybe 1 or 2 pellets and then that's it. It's not interested anymore.
Yeah.
Which is unusual. And then it will do that for 2 days, and then it's like back absolutely hammering the food again. So when it does it, it concerns me because I'm like, what is wrong with you? But it was, to be fair, I was dosing silicates, so that I think that.
Oh, okay. releases some sort of something or whatever.
Possibly. Like I'm still battling dinoflagellates to some extent, but it's actually pretty much like absolutely completely wiped the sand now.
Okay, that's good.
So I am
it's a long old battle.
To be fair, I like won, then took the fish out again, then the tank had and it hasn't been stable, if you see what I mean. But this time I was like, right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take all the corals out this time, put the fish in, take all the corals out, because corals do not like silicates. Anyone who says dose silicates into your tank with coral in it, you are like, whoa. Like it's dangerous as far as I'm concerned, especially with SPS corals. So I took them all out. And the reason I know it's dangerous is because I bought a nice new huge millipora like this, and I put it in. It was doing all fine, and I dosed silicates, and it literally died, stripped within like a couple of hours. And I was
milli?
Yeah, okay. It's a millipora. So that was when I went, right, that's it. I'm taking all the corals out. I'm doing this properly. I'm not putting a single coral back in until it's like done and perfect, if you see what I mean. So, which is, I'm fine with that. I got a new fish.
Yeah.
Got a new fish.
Okay.
Yeah. We can show everyone. It's the fish you hate. Now, look, I want people to tell Alex that he is definitely wrong. When I saw this fish, so I saw this fish at the wholesaler. And when I showed the fish, so I was actually talking to another shop. It was Fishy Business down in Eastbourne. They were nice guys. Like, so that was the first I'd met them. And I was talking to one of them, and then while I was talking, I was just looking around the tank, and I saw a clownfish, and I was like, I have never seen a clownfish like that. And he went, I've never seen a clownfish like that either. And I went, I have to have it immediately because like you have to be like if you have to take it. If you want something, you have to take it straight away, basically.
Yeah.
But like I've never seen a clownfish like this. It has a white front. The back half of it is black. It has orange fins, orange eyes, and it has the blue gene basically. So you can't see the blue gene in that. But some clownfish have blue scales, and if you look at that video underneath,
the underside,
the underside, like the
turquoise,
where
his fins, where his fins meet the body. Yeah,
I think that you will like it more in person, but.
It's different. It's definitely different. Don't get me wrong. I've not seen a fish like that before, and there's a lot going on. He's got half of his body is white, the other half is faded grey to black. He's got orange and blue.
It looks dark. It looks darker. It is. It's not pure black, but it definitely looks darker.
He's definitely different. I will give you that. It's just that's like a 4-year-old drew a random fish. Someone said, "Hey, give a load of crayons to a 4-year-old."
No, I can't. I'm not actually like. I'm not quite sure what it reminds me of. It's kind of like a panda. Why are you saying yes?
68% say no on your ugly clownfish. Yes.
No.
Come on.
No. I am shocked. Even the people at the wholesale went, they've never seen anything like this. And then someone on it in, what was it? I think it's saltwateraquarium.com tagged ORA, the people who breed clownfish, when you need to get this fish and breed it. And then ORA replied going, that was our fish. We just sold it. It's not very often that you know exactly like where your fish come from. And
that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, I thought it was nice that they replied.
ORA farm, lols, that's actually our fish.
So I actually I then sent them a private message going, you got any more? I need a small one.
Yeah, because no one wants a single clownfish, do they? Or most people want a pair. You know, that's the one best thing. It is definitely ugly duckling is a great way of putting it. Yeah, totally agree.
Look, I don't like designer clownfish, and I wasn't actually going to get any more clownfish. Like, so I took the clownfish out of the water box. They're actually at the coral farm at the moment. They're a pain in the ass. I actually don't like clowns very much. But when I saw it, I was like, you get that feeling when you see something and you go, like you had with that Scarus koi. You went, I have to have that. Not just that specific fish.
Yeah.
It's ugly clownfish.
Yeah. Leading question.
Yeah. Well,
but with Scarus kois as well, they don't all look that. This one actually had ripped fins. He'd been in with a Tang, the day before at my local Reef Keeper, and they moved him to a different tank because he got his fins pecked. And so he had some ripped fins on the top and on the tail. I asked them, and they were like, "Yeah, they'll probably heal." I think I asked you as well. And you went, "Yeah, probably heal." Fine, so probably heal, no problem. And it's not that bad. But that was a particularly nice one. Some of them, it's a good size. Some of them come in, they're bloody massive. And I know he's going to get bigger anyway. But some of them come in, they're enormous. And others come in, they're just really drab colours, which he might turn drab anyway. But obviously, day one, I want to get one that looks nice. So it was really important for me to specifically with that parrotfish to get one, the exact sort of one that I'm after. I'm looking for.
So that's what I mean. It gave you a feeling where it's like, I have to have that. And the thought that before I went to the hotel, I was like, no, I wasn't really thinking this, but I decided long ago, I'm not putting clownfish in the tank. They look weird, clownfish in a tank, because my clownfish never live in anything. They never live in anemones. They never live in corals. They usually just hang out in the top corner, just doing this. You know how they do that? They just sort of
constantly moving,
and it looks weird because all the other fish are swimming around and they're just sitting there in the top corner doing nothing. And then occasionally they'll breed and then they chase everything else in the tank. So when I saw it, as I said, I just went, I gotta have that, so I took it straight away. I thought about getting another clownfish to pair it up with, and then I realized I can't pair it up with anything because anything else I put with it looks weird. I literally had it in the bucket, looking at it, and then walked around looking at the other clownfish, going, "Well, these two kind of match," and there's nothing goes with it. So I'm not sure with regards to what will happen with it long term. If it will go in the water box, if it will go in the farm. I actually know a couple of people that breed clownfish as well. It may end up going there, and I just go, look, if you breed this and you get another one that looks cool, we'll split the fish or whatever. So yeah, I'm not quite sure. I just thought it's one of those things where if you don't take it that time, like that's it. You're not gonna get it again unless ORA send over 1,000 of them, and then no one will care.
I do like the very light blues and unusual blue on his fins. I'll give you that.
I really think that if you saw it in person, that you would like it more than you like the video. I do. It'll be interesting if I put it in the water box because the background in the water box is black. And when I had the black and white clownfish in there, you just see these two white bands moving. So that is going to look like half a clownfish swimming around.
Yeah, okay.
It's going to look like just the front half of a clownfish.
Yeah. File, share, copy, post, comment, paste, boff. Jake Rolls has asked about advice on adding a gate valve to a Red Sea tank. I did that on my last tank. I would advise doing it. The Gen 2 ones, obviously, have got a gate valve. Well, no, they haven't, sorry. They've got a better diaphragm valve, and so far mine's been fine. But the Gen 1 diaphragm valve, I hated it. It's awful. So I'd strongly recommend changing it. It wasn't that much of a pain. But I did have an issue with there was a leak in one of the one in the pipes, the new pipes I bought. But do it now. It's very good. Naked storm clown would look good, says Chris
I just
Harrison.
Googled it. I don't know. I actually, do you know what's funny? I don't like, like all white clownfish. I don't like them.
No, I don't tend to like the ones where it's the majority white.
Yeah. Your naked ones are cool. Where they're all orange.
They're cool. Yeah. But even then, every now and then I see, so like the clownfish, the designer clowns that I like the most, I tried a pair of frostbite clowns, and for a start, I think they're quite a cool pattern, like kind of jaggedy edges, but mine were aggressive. They used to bite me all the time, and so I don't know if that coloured my judgment, but I don't really like the look of them. The Da Vinci clowns that I had before, let me bring them up so I can.
Yeah, you had a really, really nice. I know the female was really nice. I don't remember the male one.
They're just both awesome. I absolutely love them. And I saw Reef Keeper have got, I shouldn't say this because I want to buy them. Reef Keeper have got a really nice, I think they're called Mocha Vinci, but they're like this, and that kind of thing. They're so cool. The Da Vinci clowns for me are some of the nicest clowns. But also there was a guy I did a tank tour of, Chris, recently, who had a pair of just bog standard Nemos. And they're so cool.
I know, just proper, normal ones are fine. But it's actually hard to get normal ones, like because the shops usually stock all the non-normal ones. So
this is a good one.
I can't remember the last time. Actually, there was one person who wanted to have like 50 of them. I literally think I got him 50 normal clownfish because
Really?
he wanted to have a high like a harem,
Harem,
yeah. So there was, however, some other stuff in his tank, and he had a golden dwarf moray, which I think may have eaten most of them. So the little Hawaiian ones.
Yeah, okay.
So, he might even be listening, but possibly a bad choice.
So Jake, it's a G2 tank. What tank is it? Because mine's a G2, but it's got a big inlet. It's an oversized inlet, and I think that's probably what does it. What tank is it? What Red Sea tank? I'm guessing it's one of the smaller ones, as in not like 5-6 foot. Interesting. Oh, in that case, I think that you can. I think it's. Oh, I seem to remember reading when they first came out. I did a video, like a Reef Dork Reacts video, when they first brought out the Gen 2 tanks, and I have a feeling I said something about the plumbing being interchangeable in that. I think you can change it. 350. Yeah, okay. So they must not have the bigger inlet valves. Interesting. Okay. There you go. Anyway, what else has been going on? Oh, I tell you what else has been going on, Ryan. I have gone back to something that I did before but stopped doing.
Okay.
Calcwasser.
Again, yes.
Again, yeah. I think I talked about this briefly last week, but I'm properly switched over on my main tank to calc now. I bought a DD P1 dosing pump, 120 quid, and so I was looking. I thought I had a spare Ecotech Versa lying around. Turns out I don't, and they're 200 quid. And I was like, I'm not spending 200 quid on a dosing pump, and even 120 quid. I think it's quite expensive, but it's continuous duty, so I had to have it. Have it. But that's all set up now. And I'm back to calc life. The Cade has been on calc for about a month and is looking really good. And I'm hoping that I will have improvements in my main tank as a result.
You love to change stuff all the time.
Can't get enough of it.
As I said, I've been doing the same thing probably for like 18 years now. So basically, I've hardly ever changed my lights. I've had AI or radions. You've been using the same dosing solutions for literally years, so we're like polar opposites in some extent. With basically, if I have to touch the tank, I don't want to. I don't like it.
No, I know. And so with Calcwasser, excuse me, I do like to tinker for sure, but calc worked for me, and the only reason I stopped using it was because I was dosing it on 3 tanks. And it was a pain in the arse, and it was too much maintenance. So I was like, I want to have everything on the same thing. So I switched to Reef Elements, and it was Reef Elements on all of them. And now it's like, well, I've only got 2 tanks, and they're not high uptake like my other ones were. So it's easy, and I can live with that. So that's why I've gone back to. So I've actually gone back to what I did before. Yeah. But yeah, I do love to tinker. Lights, actually, I've settled down recently.
Yeah. That's because you found your perfection.
I have indeed. And so the Cade, so when I was given that tank, I think they sent me a Radion, and I tried it. It was a Gen 5, I think. I tried it. I just didn't like it. I bought a Gen 4 a few years ago, didn't like it. And I thought, what, everyone says the Gen 5 is brilliant. Let's try it. I just don't like it. It's just not for me. I'm the only person in the world who doesn't like Radions. But I just don't like them.
People think you're like an authority on lighting these days.
Well,
when I came to your house the other day, and you know what? I didn't even notice it. I didn't because I don't look at those sorts of things. I couldn't tell you what lights you had or anything.
Yeah, indeed. But so the Cade has been unchanged for must be over a year, 18 months maybe. And the Red Sea tank is a year old now.
Yeah.
And that's had the same lights from the start as well.
Are they the Red Sea ones you've got on it?
The Red Sea ones.
Yeah.
So part of the reason I got them, part of the reason I used them is because they were free.
Yeah.
But something funny at the time, some people were speculating, I bet because everyone takes a piss at me because I changed my lights. Yeah. And some people were saying, I bet he's been told he's got to keep them for 6 months or a year or whatever, then he'll change them. There's no restrictions. I don't have a contract. No, they didn't say, you must have it for X period. I'm sticking with them because I like them. So, but I'm not, and I don't plan on changing because I've nailed it. And I used to, every now and then I'd look at my tank and I'd be like, I don't like the shimmer. The shimmer's not enough, or I don't like the color of the blues or whatever. And it used to bug me. So I'd go chasing perfection. Yeah. And now I feel like with a Kessel or a Red Sea, something that does shimmer in the middle, and the AI blades for spread, coverage, and the blues in the evening is perfection.
I just like the ones that just turn off automatically, and I set them up once, and I'd have to touch them for 5 years. They're the ones I like.
Yeah. Which is fine.
It would be a pain in the ass to have to because obviously all of mine go into the roof, don't they? All the cables go up into the roof. To change them would be a nightmare.
Well, it's a changing over lights is a pain in the backside. I've done it a few times, obviously. Actually, to be fair, most of the time when I've changed my lights, I've added to them. Like I've added an Orfec bar or something. I've not completely changed everything much, but the times I have completely changed the whole lot, I start at like 7 in the morning. So then that gives me like 3.5 hours before the lights are supposed to come on, because it does take a lot of time. Yeah. So yeah, it's a faff. And I'm glad that I don't have to do that. Although actually, when I set the night crew over the Cade to do the review for that. That was quite easy. That wasn't too bad. That was fairly stress-free. But on the main tank, it's different. It would be, there's plugs everywhere and cables. And the longer you have a tank, you start covering cables in other cables. And then when you try to get an old cable out, it's just like everything goes to apart, basically.
And then you don't put it back to normal afterwards. You're like, I'm done now.
That'll do. I'm tired. Yeah. Exactly.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. What else has been going on? So my quarantine method is the one thing I've not talked about.
Yes. I'm just gonna sit here like just silently just to see where this goes.
My quarantine method does not exist. So I've gone full on plop and drop. Slightly, that's not quite true, like acclimation box, but that's not separating them, obviously.
Yeah.
So they go straight in the tank from day one when I buy them.
Yeah.
And that's been the case for all the fish I've added since my white spot outbreak.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to wind back a little bit, because what I did before, that was part of the reason that I got a white spot outbreak in the first place, was because I got lazy, or I got complacent is a better word, actually.
Yeah.
Because what I always used to do was inspect. If I see a fish, I'd inspect it carefully and closely in a shop, and if something was amiss, move away. And if there was, so I saw it. Where was I? Oh yeah, if you see a fish in a system, and it's got a problem with it, don't buy any fish at all.
Yeah.
Because if you come back in a month, they'll still be there. And there are other shops. So if there's fish that have got something wrong with them, don't buy from that shop. Buy another time. If the fish itself doesn't look right, walk away. It doesn't matter. There'll be another one. And make sure it looks healthy. Make sure it's eating all that sort of stuff. Feed it properly. So I think the variety is going to help. And have an absolute butt ton of UV. And I've recently doubled my UV to basically 100 watts, which is quite a lot actually on a 700 litre tank, roughly. So that's it. I'm not suggesting that you should follow me and you should copy me. You should do plop and drop. You should make your own mud. I'm not saying you should quarantine, but you should make your own mud. You should research the pros and cons and decide what's right for you. But quarantine is not right for me. And you look like you're about to judge me.
If that term plop and drop is something that you hear all the time.
Yeah.
Around this hobby.
It's quite funny rhyming.
What does it mean? Like what are those, like I understand drop it in the tank, but what does the plop mean? Like
it's just the same thing, yeah.
It
just rhymes. But so it's, and plop and drop is like it's kind of, I find it quite a funny term, because it's like it suggests that you don't care, does it? Yeah. And it's not that I don't care. I just think that this is what Humble Fish refers to as ick management, I think. So you don't try to eradicate the disease before it gets in your tank. You know that you've probably got it in your tank, but you just do things to take care of it. And that actually up until last year, or earlier this year, whenever it was, when I had the outbreak, I think it was last year, end of last year, whatever. That's always worked for me, actually.
Yeah.
And I've only ever had one thing when it went wrong. And the reason I said I got complacent is because the fish I bought that brought the disease in, I spoke to the shop and I talked to them about their medication protocols and all this, and they were like, oh, they told me all the stuff they do. I was like, wicked. And I made the mistake of just saying, oh, okay, well, in that case, they do that, so therefore anything I buy from them is right, which is not right. And I just said, I know they had a Royal Grammar. I was like, oh, can you get me a Royal Grammar? Didn't even look at it.
Yeah.
I was like, just get whatever one you want. And he went and got a fit, and then the bag up. And I'm not saying, actually, I couldn't see disease on it when it went in my tank.
Yeah.
But to not even look at the fish you buy, that's just ridiculous. It doesn't matter how careful, even if you've got the most careful fish shop in the world, it doesn't matter. They might still get a fish in that has a problem. So to not even observe it was just so silly. So that was my mistake. And the only thing is that could have been avoided if I'd have made that mistake and then put it into a quarantine tank.
Yeah, potentially.
And the only thing that I might end up doing is still observe for 4 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever. I've got
now. Now they're in.
Well, yeah, no, for these ones it is, but I might do that in the future.
That's what I'm doing. So the clownfish is in the quarantine system. It's not being treated. Clownfish are actually fine with being treated for stuff, but I'm just leaving it for. I don't know how long it'll be in there for. Whether it'll be 2, 3, 4 weeks, I'm not sure. But I'm just seeing. Basically, if it's got velvet, it'll die immediately. Within.
Yeah.
It potentially could have been dead by now, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
Because I've had it since Friday, but I'd rather just make sure that the really, really bad ones don't get in. That's what I want to avoid. And 2 weeks is not too bad. That sort of goes with my going to the wholesaler. So every 2 or 3 weeks I usually go, and then so I can swap the fish out. I can take the new fish out of quarantine and then put the new fish into the quarantine system, and it's good to go. So that works for me.
That's probably the way to do it, to be honest. And I might end up doing that because so the two bad ones for me are Brook and Velvet. Velvet is that everything's dead in 24 hours basically.
Yeah.
Not funny at all. And Brook was awful. I'm pretty sure I had that with my clownfish.
Yeah.
And they just had no chance. They were like riddled with it.
Yeah.
So I think those are the two nasty ones. And white spot, it can be bad. And I'm pretty sure I had that on this outbreak, and it did kill some of my fish, but you can live with it at the same time. So
yeah, most people I think live with it.
Yeah, without even knowing. Yeah, but there we go. So I'll go back. I realized the other day someone asked me if I for a tank update the other day, like in a comment on the YouTube section. I was like, I do them all the time, and I look back and I was like, I haven't done one for ages. I haven't done one since I had the disease outbreak.
Yeah,
I've done a couple of videos about like showing around the sump of the tank and all that sort of stuff, but not a proper tank update. So I'm going to do a tank update, and I'll talk about that properly. And it'll be like, look, this is what I do. If you want to do it, then fine, but research the pros and cons and make your own mind up, because it's not right for everybody. And I'm encouraging you to plop and drop, #plop and drop. But I'm not, just make your own mind up.
There you go. That's Alex's advice on quarantine. Make your own mind up.
Do your research and decide what works for you.
I also, I think risk factor as well. If you're getting a powder blue tang, like you're asking for it.
Well, that's the other thing. And so I want a tang actually. In an ideal world, I'd have a tang in my sump because I've got a frag tank section down there. But I'm not going to add one because that increases my chances of getting white spot. I'm not going to add a tang to my main tank because one, that increases my chances of white spot, and two, that increases the chances of aggression.
Yeah.
And I don't want my fish to be stressed out and have weaker immune systems, all that sort of stuff. So that's the other thing is managing aggression. The only fish I've got in there that's slightly aggressive is the angel, the Japanese angel. Yeah. And even she isn't that bad. She's a little bit feisty, but she's fine. And never really does any damage. So no aggression is another thing for me. Loads of space. There's loads of space in that tank. There's loads of hiding places. Yeah. Everybody seems to have somewhere to go. So,
I just reminded me of there's another fish which is one of those love or hate fish, which when you said about having a tang, I've always wanted a jewel tang, and I've had them before, but I've never had success with them. I think I've had 2 before. I've had much harder fish to keep them than they are. They are an acanthus tang, but they're like a weird looking acanthus tang. I
googled jewel tang. It said zebrasoma. What's the Oh, here we go.
It's like a squashed acanthus.
Hang on.
No, that's a gem tang.
It's not loading. That one.
Yes, that one. That's a terrible picture of one. But
they look cool when they're young, right?
Yeah, when they're younger, they look, because they're like half gem tang, half sailfin tang. They like the colors on them.
There we go.
Yeah, that's that's what.
Yeah, mustard tang. Yeah, that's what I know them as.
I really like those, and I've always. But again, they're just grey. They're grey and white, and they're not particularly exciting. But
so you see them proper small in shops, and they look like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
But
Jamie says overrated. That's one of the few fish that Jamie doesn't have.
Yeah, he's got a big old tank. Start a poll Mustard. I'm going to call it a mustard tang.
There's not a chance that I'll win this one.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, let's go. Let's find out. Jewel equals mustard guitartus. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, I just don't like it. And then when they're young, actually that's not true. When they're young, they're cool, but when they look old, like that looks like one of those batfish that look like an old batfish, you know? Yeah, like a mature batfish.
It looks like a fish that people eat. It doesn't look like a pretty fish that goes in a tank.
Oh yeah, that's got really ugly. It's got
Mo is correct. They are super, super active. And I wouldn't get one again. And the reason I wouldn't get one again is because it looks odd in the tank. So all the other fish are like relaxed, and this thing's on like speed or something. It's just like it's taking cocaine. It's like just going round and round and round and round. And the other acanthus tangs are not like it. So it's not like it's because it's an acanthus tang. Like it is just like the fastest fish in the tank when I had it. So
that stresses me out.
It looks odd. It really, like, all the other fish are just like swimming around normally, and then you got one fish that's going just going backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
It sort of ruins the aesthetics of the tank, so I wouldn't get one again.
That can't be a good thing as well, because if it's doing that, it must, because acanthus like big territories anyway, don't they?
Yeah.
So that must be because like it swims for miles on end in the wild.
Yeah. Another fish I've always wanted is a Caribbean blue. They used to have one at London Zoo, and it's like the size of a dinner plate, and it was the most vivid blue color. And I sometimes you see a fish, and it like sticks with you. And
Jamie's got one of these.
He's got one as well.
No offense, Jamie, but
I think they're well nice, so just ignore him.
they're okay. I don't hate it,
but they get absolutely massive.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the really big fish.
That's when they're young, right? When they're
they start yellow. The weird thing, so I had one of these probably like 16 years ago, I reckon, and it was massive but yellow. But sometimes you see little tiny blue ones in the shops. So I'm not sure what caused them to change color. But whereas things like chevron tangs like change in captivity all the time, the Atlantic blue tangs don't for some reason. Once they come into captivity, they usually don't change that easily.
I've left the poll running because it was 50-50.
I'm amazed. 50-50. I thought it was going to be like 80-20.
It even got 49%, 51% nay, and I left it still to see if it changed, and it hasn't changed. It finished 51% no, 48% yes. So this is the chevron tang. They're another one that's really cool when they're young. Is that what they get to when they're old?
Yeah, that's what I like when they're old. And they are ugly. I know, look, the pattern on them is quite nice, but the color on them is just like
Are they
black.
Tenocatus? Are they the bristletooth?
They are
Tenocatus. Yeah. Because that just looks like a bland coal tang to me.
They're one of the fish where when you buy it as a juvenile, they're really expensive. When you buy it as an adult, they're much cheaper.
Yeah.
Normally, as fish get bigger, generally speaking, they get more expensive. Not always. Gem tangs are more expensive when they're small, because people prefer small ones to big ones.
I'm sure I've seen when I've seen gem tangs in my local fish shop, the smaller ones have been cheaper.
Maybe
not much, like 50 quid cheaper.
Maybe I'm wrong then.
Because I bought a gem tang, I don't know, a year ago, which died in the white spot outbreak. And that was small, and it was cheaper because it was smaller, and I wanted the cheaper one, the smaller one anyway. Yeah. But
that's what I mean. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just heard that. I don't go to a huge amount of fish shops anymore, do I? So
no. I've started paying more attention to, so because I didn't buy fish for a long time, didn't pay any attention to prices. I started paying more because I'm buying fish now. I've started paying more attention to prices. Yeah. And they are expensive. They are expensive.
Yeah. It's you looked the other day, didn't you? While I was driving back from the wholesaler, didn't you look at the cost of fish compared to inflation?
Oh, I did, and that's because YouTube decided I wanted to see it. Just every now and then, YouTube shows you random stuff, and it went through a spell of showing me really old videos, like 10-year-old videos. Like, that's weird. Yeah. And it showed me one of Reef Keeper Windsor before they moved, and it was just some bloke walking around the shop no commentary, just videos looking at the fish, and some of them, like there was the Midas blenny, it was 20 quid or 19 quid or something, and I put that into an inflation calculator because my one was 40 quid.
Yeah.
And I put that into an inflation calculator, and the inflation calculator said something like 25 quid or 27. And I did the same with a Regal Tang. I forget what the Regal Tang was, but fish prices, and this was a really small sample size
of two,
of two, and it was from one shop that doesn't exist anymore technically.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily accurate, but if the impression I got, maybe I looked at one or two more as well. The impression I got was that fish are increasing ahead of inflation.
Yeah.
Because people always complain about prices of everything, right? And actually, most of the time when you look, cars are the same price as they were 20 years ago when factoring in inflation, those sorts of things. But actually, from what I could see, fish have gone up quite a lot ahead
except Gem Tangs. Most just said it, but that is so true.
That's
the one fish that's come down.
Well, that was the thing. The one thing I tried to choose fish that haven't fluctuated in price for reasons like yellow tangs, flame angels, those sorts of fish, because there are different factors. Midas blenny, Regal Tangs, they all should be, price should be fairly steady, but who knows? There might be other factors influence it. But my impression was that inflation fish prices have gone up above inflation.
Now I don't know if I'm about to say something stupid, because I say that sometimes. Has oil gone up, or is oil what causes inflation, or has that gone up more than inflation? Because obviously
oil fluctuates.
The fish go on planes, which is why they're more expensive generally. The other thing is people sort of know what things are worth now, so the people at the source are charging more to some extent. So there's a whole range of different things. But I just wonder if you could pinpoint what has caused it to go up.
I mean, oil's a commodity, so it's completely different, and the trading price is all over the place, and it goes up and down depending on how many barrels per day OPEC countries release and all that sort of nonsense, all sorts of stuff that every now and then I see on the news. I don't really understand it, but so that I don't think the oil prices. Maybe it would overall it would track with inflation roughly, but they can go all over the place. There was one point when barrels of oil had a negative value because there was so much of it that it was costing the companies money to store it, so it was cheaper than to get rid of it. That did not last long.
I bet it didn't.
But actually part of the reason I followed that is because I'm on heating oil in my house. It's not connected to the gas main. And heating oil prices track roughly the price of crude oil. So when I see in the news the price of crude oil is dropping, I'm like, let's go and buy some heating oil. But I don't know about that. But all sorts of things. COVID did when prices went crazy after COVID because of good reasons. Because suddenly a container cost £1 million, and all sorts of other things. Fuel price. There weren't as many planes flying, so know there are more important things than fish, unbelievably. So it went up a lot then. But I don't feel like, and I don't know if it's gone up there since then and it hasn't come back down, or what if that was the only event. But maybe that was it. Maybe COVID was it was the boost point, and because there isn't as much competition for fish and corals as there is for cars, it didn't come back down again. I don't know.
I feel like flame angels went up really, really high and then have come back down.
They're not terrible. I think they're about 150 quid at the moment, which is still a lot. I'm
sure I remember them being like 200 and something at one point.
I'm sure I was thinking 250. But back in the day, they were 30.
60. I remember them.
There you go. But then that was partly because mostly because of the Hawaiian ban. They must be collected from other areas though, right?
I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you where they are collected, but they get loads you can get them.
But that must be a big part of that must be the Hawaiian ban, and that's nothing to do with inflation. You can't get it. Well, it kind of is. But I don't really know.
If they're coming from a different source, if that source is more expensive, then it makes sense. So
anyway, I think that's it. Have you got anything else that you wanted to talk about from your week?
The only thing I wanted to say is obviously I said last week about the website with regards to the coral auction website. Do you remember I said that I was going to release it hopefully this week? I think I said that. Maybe I imagined that. I definitely told a few people. For people that don't know, basically eBay is like taking auctions off, so you can't sell on there. If you look now, there's probably like 30 auctions. There used to be hundreds. I put another 5 up just to test it this week, and they took 4 of them down. So not sure why they left 1 up. But if you were bidding on the Scully I put on there, then that's what happened to it. Basically, they took it down.
So I've searched live coral, 273 results.
Yeah, but look under auction.
Auction. Well, one result.
They're definitely focusing on auctions more than buy it now at the moment.
Totally. Yeah. So 273 is nothing. A lot. If I'd have done that a month ago, it would be 273,000. You know, or 2,000. Well, maybe not that many, but you know what I mean. Still.
Yeah. Wow. So basically, what I've done is I have made a website. Well, not my partner's. Rachel has made a website that mimics eBay pretty closely, I'd say. It's obviously people can put coral on. Anyone can go on there and put coral on there. I'm not taking the website yet because we're still working out the bugs, and sometimes it's live, and we don't want people on it while it's live and we're changing things. But I made a video today and put it on my Instagram to show you what it will look like. And these are the corals I got from the wholesaler the other day. Not all of them. Some of them I've had for a while. Which is my plan to have these as the very, very first ones that go up. I thought I'd put some nice juicy ones on there.
10 quid bleeding apple Scully.
Yeah, but obviously people will bid in it, so the price will go up. But you can see that you can put multiple pictures. There is a rating system. It only looks weird at the moment because I've had to cut out like parts of it, so you can't identify what the website is. Yeah. But yeah, it's in theory it should. User reviews. Yeah, it should be virtually no different than eBay. Now, what's interesting is at the start of the week, I called loads of the people that are on eBay, really, really big ones. People like Jason's Aquatics, who've been on it for 15 years.
eBay legend. Yeah.
Yeah. So I spoke to Jason, and he went, if you do this, I'm 100% in. So if you can like make it work. So what will end up happening is I'll send an email to everyone who signed up to the Prestige Reef email. I'll send an email out saying it's ready to go sign up to it. Probably with an incentive to sign up. And then, so if I get enough people there, then the sellers will go, well, look, they've got thousands of people there. It's worth selling on here. And we'll go from there. It's an experiment to some extent. But I will need the support of everyone to make it work. So if you get the email and it says, sign up, just sign up, just for the sake of doing it, even if you don't go on it, if you see what I mean. Because if this doesn't work, I don't think that other people are going to be able to do this. I'm in a unique position where I can get enough people there and I have enough like reputation to get the buyers there where they trust me, where it's going to work.
And the timing as well. This couldn't be better timing, unfortunately, because of eBay closing down effectively.
And so, I can't wait because it's cost me loads of money. The people I spoke to said it literally has gutted our sales. Like they were quite angry. Some of the people I spoke to, because it's like they've been doing it for years and years and years, and all of a sudden they go, no, we're not doing it anymore. And it's like there's no real reason you're not doing it anymore. There's no change in regulation. There's nothing. eBay just went, right, that's it. We're not doing it anymore. So East Coast Reefer is just saying he's looking forward to the new auction site. Look, East Coast, you are just as much of a social media person as everyone else. So I will, don't you worry, I'll be in contact because like, as I said, we need to push it. You can't sign up to the email yet. If you want to sign up to an email, sign up to the Prestige Reef email. On that website, because everyone who's on that email will get this email. So I wanted to have a page where people could sign up early, but it just adds to the complication of doing things.
Yeah, okay. And well, I'll be signing up. I've got some corals to go, so I'll sign up as soon as it's ready. Yeah. And it's because this is open to anybody. It's hobbyists, shops, eBay, Facebook sellers, everyone basically. Yeah.
So it's we'll see how it works. We'll see. It's hopefully will be successful basically.
When is it? Excuse me. When's it actually going to launch? When will I be able to look at the website?
I don't want to say next Sunday, because I said this Sunday. Sometimes like these, like when
soon, basically.
Yeah, it will be soon. Basically, it will be soon. So it's only a matter of time. basically to see what happens. So, but I don't think it'll be like a month. I think it will be within a couple of weeks.
Okay. Yeah.
I just don't want to promise anyone, because I promised people and then I didn't do it. That's why I did put the video out to look, I am doing this.
Yeah. Okay.
So
very interesting.
Yeah. There you go.
There we go. Well, we'll talk about it more, constantly, basically. But we'll do it when we've got the next 2 weeks. I saw Aaron's Aquarium was in the chat. Michael Aaron, sorry.
Yeah.
Was in the chat earlier. Where is he? There he is. You. yo. So he's on next week. And then the week after is Amy does some stuff. But we'll then the week after that, we'll do a proper deep dive on it. Okay. Website going to be worldwide, not just UK, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's just gonna be the UK, and it's just coral at the moment, because people said, oh, do you want to do fish and stuff? Someone mentioned about regulations. We've basically gone through everything that we need to do properly. We don't take the payments from people. Basically, you have to go through like third parties. So the website is that this is what's complicated. It's actually like 3 other like companies combined that you have to like mesh together, and they do work together, and it works out basically. So
I work in that area, don't I? So don't tell me now, but tell me after the stream who you're using.
Okay, yeah, that's not a problem.
And we'll have a chat. Okay, cool. Well, there we go. So coming soon.
Yeah.
Very interesting. All right. There was member questions. There were no member questions, but there is one. Okay. I've just refreshed. This is from Rich's Reef. He says, "Is there a coral that either of you?" Excuse me, I don't know what's wrong with me tonight. I'm not bored. I promise. I do this every now and then. I've done it.
It's called old age.
Maybe I've done it. I've had guests on, and I'm sitting here yawning. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I know this is so rude. I promise it's not you. Anyway, is there a coral that either of you inexplicably can't keep? For me, it's the bubblegum digi. Okay, despite being able to grow other strains of digi without issue. Corals you can't keep. Ryan, I'm guessing nothing with you because you're literally a professional.
Bernard Pora sometimes.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay.
Is it Bernard or Bernard?
Yeah.
Bernard.
Americans pronounce it Bernard.
Yeah.
We pronounce it Bernard.
For some reason, as in some strains I can grow, the gold one doesn't do well for some reason. And it's like it will hang on for like I've got a piece of it which is like closed, and I've had it like that for just probably 2 years. It doesn't grow, it doesn't die, it just doesn't do anything. So that would be the one thing I reckon. That's what comes to mind.
At least 3 Bernies in my tank are struggling at the moment.
Yeah.
One of them it was stunning. It had been I bought it from another hobbyist. He'd had it for years. Yeah. Really bright gold. And now it's just it's faded. It's looking like it's bleaching. And it's not getting that much light. It's getting less light than it was in the previous guy's tank. Another one is just, again, inexplicably dying. One of them is dying because it's being stung by a gunny. And up until that, it was thriving, to be fair. But yeah, they're funny. They're funny.
Yeah. Anything else can I think of? I don't like mushrooms because they leave, but it's not that I can't grow them, but they like just pop off the rock and float around. So am I boring you?
No,
people who are listening to the podcast, Ag just yawned again. It's like he's not even worried about but now he's like running around the room to try and like
I'm opening the window to let some more oxygen in, because that's obviously the issue. So
obviously, that makes and you're getting sleepy because it's too warm in there.
Too much CO2. That's the problem. I need to dose calquaster in this room to increase the pH.
Is that tank upstairs getting too hot at the moment?
No. Oh, the fans come on, but it'll be like a quarter of a degree. My tanks have been brilliant in terms of temperature this year. The main one downstairs, the Red Sea one, never budges. This one, maybe half a degree at worst, but the fans do a really good job. It's funny because one of those fans looks like it's moving, the other one doesn't.
That's true, actually, yeah.
But they are both moving. What were we talking about? I've forgotten now already.
We'd moved on.
Corals that we can't grow.
Oh, yeah.
So I can't think of anything at the moment that I'm particularly struggling with. Anything in that tank? So historically, I've struggled with acans, but the acans on this tank, those 3 there are doing really well, and the one in my main tank is doing really well.
Too much lighting, I think. You always had
exactly, completely, and I think it was fairly obvious. Acan, in terms of SPS, and this is a common one. Even the best dickheads can't keep this one. But Icefire echinata.
Yeah.
which is a beautiful coral. Oh my god, it's amazing. I've never been able to keep that. I've tried. To be fair, I've only tried a couple of times because it just dies. You don't. Are you looking it up?
I know what it is. I was actually just thinking if it's the same one that was. There was a local. There was a maidenhead that had something very similar to that in, that could grow it.
Look at that. Look at that. Oh man, it's so beautiful. That's a brilliant photo. That is.
I've got something that's similar to that in the farm at the moment. It's not that color, but I have something that's similar to that in the farm.
Smooth skin.
Yes, yeah. But mine's more like purple.
Is it the purple beacon? Is it it's not the one that I had. The one I can't remember what it's called. Jamie's got one. People always have to remind me.
It came from a tank breakdown. The funny thing is, most people ignore it. And then sometimes someone who really likes acros comes in, they're like, "Oh, can I have a piece of that?"
Yeah, okay.
He says it's called a Pac-Man Herlock, potentially.
Pac-Man Herlock is the one that's what I just said. That is this one, this purple and green one.
It is. That is what it is.
It is.
Yes. Yeah.
Love it. So that I had one of them, grew so fast you wouldn't believe it. It's beautiful. And I've said this before a few times. The only problem with it was that when I took it out to frag it, 90% of it stripped. I was gentle with it. I didn't do anything crazy, didn't like bandsaw it or whatever. I just snapped branches and it just almost all stripped. But it's a beautiful, beautiful coral. And it was hardy in the tank until I took it out. It grew like crazy. But every now and then, so the thing is, every now and then I'll see a coral like that and I'm like, oh, I wish I could do acros again. I was in Aquatic Emporium today. Yeah, and they turned the flow off in their aqua tray because I was buying a clam. Their clam off them, and they turned off all the flow, and suddenly I was like, "Oh God, I love acros." I just it's a toxic relationship, Ryan. They don't give enough back to me. They take and take and take. So,
they're like seahorses or jellyfish.
They're not. No,
they're the most ungrateful pets.
No, but they give something back.
Just not enough.
They do. I just love them. And the Pac-Man Herlock is a really nice one. Really, really nice. The Rainbow Loom as well. This one has just come up. That's just a frag. My Rainbow Loom colony. Oh, God, it was just so like awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway. Right. We've gone off track. But yeah, corals. So that the one that stands out, what I always think of is Icefire Echinata. But you ask anybody, there aren't many people who can keep Icefire Echinata. I do wonder if Coral Euphoria can keep it. I'm sure there's
anything.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a shame that he disappeared from YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know if he broke. I thought he broke his tank just down. I
thought he broke his shop down. Actually, Coral Euphoria. I'm sure someone said before, and he posted it on Reef to Reef. Yeah, there's a thread on Reef to Reef asking about it. I emailed a couple of weeks ago and got no reply. Someone's tagged him, no reply. So maybe he shut down, which would be a real shame because he set up that fruit basket. Do you remember that fruit basket coral tank he set up?
Kind of, maybe.
No. Okay.
No. The reason I was smiling when you said Reef to Reef was because it reminded me of Ultimate Reef. And the funny thing is, so I went on Ultimate Reef the other day. I can't remember why. I don't ever really go on it. I used to go on it a lot. I've got like 1,000 posts on there. I looked back at my very, very first post, and it's please, if you're on Ultra Reef, go back and look at your first posts, because I looked back at mine and was like, I was giving people advice and I didn't know what I was doing.
Yes, exactly.
It is dangerous to do that, and I bet people do that all the time. And the advice wasn't necessarily wrong to some extent. I think there probably was somewhere I look back now and go, that was definitely not right. But like, I just thought I was not qualified to be giving people advice like 18 years ago.
But that's so I was the same, and because you want to help people, and there are times when there were some people that I really trusted and they were brilliant, and I used to pass on their advice. But when you're passing on someone else's advice, they've probably given you advice on a specific situation, and then you just copy and paste it. And it doesn't apply to everybody's situation. So I've got 7,000 posts on Ultimate Reef, so I can't even go.
I don't even think you can get back to the very, very. Oh, your ones maybe you can get back to the first ones.
September 2014 was my first post. but I can't. I don't know if I can go back to it.
I think mine was in like, well, I can't remember what it was.
What do you remember? What it said? What you said?
My very first post. It actually didn't have my very first post. It was late.
Right.
They were too far back. I don't remember what I was saying to people. It could have been about cyano or dinoflagellates or something like that I was giving advice on. And I was like, I didn't know. I was regurgitating advice that I didn't know about, if you see what I mean.
Totally. Yeah.
And as I said, some of it was definitely wrong. But what I realized is there's two types of information. There's people that have lived it and got through the issue. And I would say that I would have had most common problems over the years I would have had and have dealt with in one way or another, whether it's white spot or dinoflagellates. I would definitely like, if someone came to me and said that I've got an issue with dinoflagellates, I'd like, right, find a place for your corals to go, no silicates, you'll be done within a month. Yeah. Okay. So I know that as a fact now that works. Whereas some people go, increase your flow, do this, add UV to the tank, it's just wrong. You need a microscope and you need silicates, and depending on which one.
Well, it depends on what type you got. Yeah.
Yeah. If you have the one that goes into the water, UV will work. But as I said, some people recommend flows or all sorts of things, and I just thought to myself, so there's two information: the people that have done it and the people that have heard what other people have done and regurgitated it.
The problem is, so you get that on Facebook a lot, and so the really good thing about forums, Ultimate Reef, all of them, is that you can see people's tanks. They encourage you to start a tank thread, so you can go and click on their tank and see what their tank looks like. Yeah. With Facebook, it's a bit harder, and you can sometimes find people's tanks, but every now and then, I see people posting on Facebook, and you think that's weird, and then if you do a bit of digging, it's like you're new, and you're trying. You're well-meaning, like you and me did the exact same thing. So I'm not judging that, but it's just dangerous to because people like that can sound really confident as well.
I know. I'm telling you,
this guy knows his stuff.
I did all sorts of weird things when I first started, like mixing angelfish and stuff like that. So when you successfully have this hobby, gives you confidence if something goes right, that you're doing something that other people don't usually do. So I had a flame angel and a coral beauty, and back then it wasn't really a done thing. People went, you have one or the other, and I'm like, I'm gonna have both. So that gave you like this false sense of like thinking that you know what you're doing. There would have been lots of small things like that. Yeah. And then I look back and go, I did not know what I was doing. I was actually just like either lucky or just totally wrong.
Yeah, 100%. No, I've been there. Yeah. And it's because I think it's because with me, I wanted to be helpful. Yeah. And so it came from a good place. It's just that it was misguided.
Yeah. I'm not sure what it was. Whether I was being helpful or... Yeah, I think you want to pass on, maybe that is it. You want to pass on the information. I don't know.
Because in particular, for me, it's a small hobby and there aren't many people out there. So you want to share information when you hear it. And this is kind of, I don't know. It's just, I think that's where it comes from mostly. Yeah. I'm sure there are some people who are just lunatics because there's 1% of ruining it for everybody. But I think almost everybody is just, they're like, I've discovered something, I want to help, and this is, and that's what you try. But yes. But yeah, I don't know. I just beer just arrived. The other thing, actually, corals that you struggle with, torch corals for me, actually.
You've changed just quickly. You've changed the microphone, haven't you? Something to do with the software. You said at the beginning, because for the first time ever, I heard you pour your beer.
Really?
Yes, it's actually a lot more sensitive than it ever used to be. I think. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that, but I think.
I didn't want to mention it because I wanted to see how it went. But tell me, particularly, I won't see it till later. But for what I find is, so the software, no one cares. Just
no one cares.
Stick with me for a second. One of the many reasons I hate StreamYard, it's really easy to use.
Yeah,
but it's bloody expensive. And when you can set it so it automatically adjusts your levels of your microphone.
Yeah.
And so then if we talk really quietly for a second, it will turn the volume up a bit. And then if we talk really loudly, it'll turn it down. And obviously, it's subtle differences is what it's trying to modulate. And then I don't have to worry about what gain you're setting and all this sort of nonsense. But actually what I find is that my audio on my normal videos is with the same setup as this, and it's mint. Yeah. The audio on this live stream, it always clips, because when we start talking loudly, suddenly the software has turned the gain up,
Yeah.
and I hate the audio on the software on the podcast. I hate it. It shouldn't be that bad. So
no one has noticed but you. I can assure you. I've never noticed.
People will have noticed, especially podcast people listening in with your headphones. So
yeah.
I apologize that my audio sucks. I'm hoping, and I'll listen back to it. I'm hoping that it's nailed it now, because we'll see. Anyway,
we shall see.
I'm still using StreamYard. It's just so easy. So it's just expensive and basic. To be fair, this little chat thing being in the corner, I like that.
Yeah, because when people watch it again on YouTube, they can see what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. So they do some good things. And it's just, I used to try OBS, and it was just so difficult. But I think Michael Aarons used to use that. And it was really advanced. You do loads of cool stuff, but you need a second person to do it. Ryan's going to switch off if I keep talking about podcast software.
Yeah, I'm watching the chat. So
yeah, okay. We've lost 400 people in the last 3 minutes. Okay, we'll move back. All right. So someone else commented about questions corals that they struggle to keep. Someone commented Xenia earlier. I can't find it. Xenia's a funny one, isn't it? Because it's
all or nothing.
Exactly. It's often recommended, and I've recommended it as a beginner coral before. And I think it is for the most part, but it can be one of those corals that you've got everything perfect in your tank, and for whatever reason, it's suffering. And then someone will say, it's because they don't like high nutrients. And then someone else will say, no, it's because they don't like no nutrients. And the reality is it's probably neither of those. It's just it's a funny coral, because it is hardy and it is tough, but there are times when it just, for whatever reason, it just melts.
I'm on the low nutrient side. I think it doesn't like low nutrients. That's in my experience. But
I had it in a tank with low nutrients. Believe it or not, I had low nutrients. I used to use Cyperax, and Cyperax like sucks all of the nutrients out of your system, and it was thriving. It was mint.
There you go, Serious Reefs. Go find out why some people can and some people can't keep Xenia alive.
Yeah. Work out. I asked that question. Xenia for the sump. Yeah, I'm sure I asked that at the start of the hobby. There's still a chance that it would spread to your tank, I would guess. And more to the point, the main reason not to use Xenia as a refugium, like instead of Cheeto, is because it's not as effective as Cheeto. Yeah, it looks cool, but it's more difficult to pull out. You've tried? You must have done trying to pull Xenia.
Yeah.
It's like I described it as, I used a really funny description in a video that I watched again recently. I can't remember what it was, but it's really slippery. It's really slippery. So yeah, difficult. I've not used it for 5 years. I'm presuming that's OBS.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there we go. Anyway, I don't like the chat on screen. I've tried to switch it off. Put your hand over your screen like that, and then you won't be able to see it. And then or put some electrical tape over the corner of your phone. Job done.
There you go.
Always helpful.
You can't keep everyone happy. Some people are like, please add the chat. Some people are like, take away the chat.
Yeah. Anyway, what else are we going to talk about, Ryan? I think we've done all the.
We haven't done the news for 2 weeks.
I know. So I've got news, and there's a bit more news. Is there anything else you want to talk about before?
No, I feel like we've covered the love or hate this fish like throughout the start, haven't we?
Yeah, you lost quite heavily, didn't you? So. Don't know why you put in that face. You did. So.
Well, I think there was only 4 polls, wasn't there?
Yeah, still 3-1.
Yeah.
I'm just not used to winning, so
That's true. Enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Oh, I will. Right. Anyway, yes, news. Yeah, there's loads of news this week. Oh, it's not actually that much, to be fair. It's the summer, but there's news because we didn't have. I danced in my head. There's news because we didn't do any news last week. So I'm going to start with some bad news. Ryan.
Okay.
Have you ever bought filters from Viair?
No, they are an RO company, aren't they?
Correct.
Possibly ages ago, or maybe I bought them off eBay or something like that. But because I know who they are, but I know they've gone into liquidation, haven't they?
Correct. Yeah. So this is their website at the moment. This is someone on the Prestige Reef Dork Show Facebook show posted this, by the way. I can't remember who it was, but thanks for the tip. That's the best place. If you ever see news and you're like, oh, I'm going to tell Reef Dork about this, post it on the Facebook page. It doesn't matter that other people see it. Post it there, because every now and then I'll check my my private messages, and I'll find something from 6 months ago. So post it on the Press TV Stock Show Facebook page. Anyway, Via, so I bought my RODI filter from them. It was cost a fortune. I think it was about 450 quid, but it's like the daddy of all RODI filters. Oh, it's so good. It's so good though. But they have gone, they got a business. I don't know the story behind it, but it says Caspian Filter Technologies, which is the company behind it, filed for administration on the 28th of March. I checked Companies House. It's not in administration. It's in it's in liquidation. So this isn't going to come out the other side. And it says are no longer trading. So as far as I can see, that's it. This isn't like, oh, are we going to turn things around? Are we going to do a restructure? It's gone. So that's a shame.
I know their supplier. So I might be able to find out.
Okay. Yes, of course you do. You know people in the industry, don't you? But tell me in the chat and in the comments afterwards, who do you use for your RO supplies? I get it from osmotics.co.uk. I used to go between Osmotics and Via, and then every now and then Finest Filters, I think, had them. There's a place up north of the border, Scotland, called Aquati. That I'm aware of, and I have no affiliations with any of these, by the way. But let me know in the chat who you use for your RODI supplements.
Osmotics was where I got my very, very first one from, but my RO unit was from D&D.
Okay.
Okay. And then I just buy the filters off eBay or like Amazon or Shardhouse or anywhere.
Every now and then I'd buy stuff from Amazon or eBay. There was lots on eBay because they always had different size housings or whatever. I don't like buying reefy stuff off Amazon though. I feel like it's not. Yeah, it makes me feel dirty. And not in a good way. Aquati, Finest Filters, all they're popular. Amazon, no Charles, don't. Osmotics, there we go. But so those are the main ones. But Avaya is dead, unfortunately, which is a shame. Do you know who's not dead?
There's a whole rate. There's a lot of answers to
that question. Aquatic Now /Senai. Who they are? What do they do? So they manufacture things like the Parwise, the Reef Delete, which didn't really take off, but they also distribute various brands like Dr. Tim's, Real Reef Rock randomly, and they do all sorts of things. They are hiring.
Okay.
So if you want to work in the industry, not you, Ryan, because you've got a job as co-host. If you want to work in the industry, it's true. If you want to work in the industry, you can get a job at Aquatics. It's like a sales director, the sales manager or something. I read this last week and now I've forgotten what it was, but basically it said it's some as here we go. If you're a talented sales professional with a proven track record in sales of consumer products selling in the B2B, business to business channel,
just a sales rep, I'm assuming.
I think so, but the job title was more glamorous than that, which is often the UK Aquatics manager, but it sounds like sales.
You're only a manager if you're managing someone.
This is very true. But anyway, if you want to sling reef deletes for a living, now's your chance. Speak now.
You made it sound glamorous.
Well, to be fair, the reef delete wasn't a hugely popular product. But the Senai par meter, the Senai Reef, that was like a staple for years. And it was the only one available, really.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about, the par meter.
Yeah. And I had the new one.
You had to plug into your laptop, the original one. You had to like hold I don't know if it's still the case, but you had to like hold your laptop up because the cable wasn't long enough.
It was and I used to balance my laptop on the tank, and it was like, please don't fall in. No, the new one, the Parwise, you can plug into your phone, thank God. But anyway, aside from that, there is a job available, so go and get it. And Aquaforest. I have two pieces of news from Aquaforest, Ryan, our friends in Poland. Well-respected supplement type company, I think. They have ended their UK distribution. So they were distributed. Their distributor in the UK was Evolution Aqua, who used to make aquariums. I had an Evolution Aqua tank. They used to make aquariums. They used to distribute Kessel. I think they did all sorts of things, but they're now focusing on pond. So they're pushing away all of their marine stuff, and so they've said to Evolution. Or my impression is they've said to Evolution, Aquaforest, you need to find another distributor. Aquaforest are going to take it in-house from the sounds of it.
Yeah.
And it said they're promising. Yeah. Hang on. Here we go. Direct from a portal with direct dispatch from Poland, and they're promising better pricing too. Talk is cheap.
Pricing is good.
Show us your prices.
Yeah. Okay.
But if they're better prices, happy days.
They're one of those companies that's similar to, what was the company you're talking about? The Reef Factory. I'm not saying they're similar to Reef Factory, but like they do everything. Like they started with supplements, they now do food, tanks, protein skimmers. They're literally are trying to do everything. I'm not saying
that's true. They're expanding a little bit. Like hard products that they make is only the new range of tanks, which are a little bit niche at the moment, and then the protein skimmer as well. Apart from that, they make mostly things like supplements and those sorts of things. Yeah. But maybe they're expanding. But anyway, if they're cheaper, happy days. But there you go. And that's it. One good thing that they're doing, although that's a bad thing. One good thing they're doing is relates to Reef Factory.
Is it?
Yes. So Reef Factory, I've not had any updates on Reef Factory actually, by the way, but I presume they're. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to completely fold. Maybe they've been bought out. God knows. I'll bring you an update when I can do. But one problem with Reef Factory, one of the many problems that customers were left with, was if you bought a Reef Factory ICP test kit, you can send it in, but it's just going to sit in a letterbox somewhere because Reef Factory has stopped trading or whatever, is in bankruptcy, whatever. So they weren't processing ICP tests. Aquaforest have stepped in and said any ICP tests that you bought before the 19th of May, they will honor. So all you need to do is contact them, and there's details of how to do so on the Aquaforest website. Contact them, you need to send them proof of purchase to show that you bought it before the 19th of May and to show that you bought it. And then they will send you a barcode and you can do it. So if you've got an old Reef Factory ICP test, don't throw it away. You can still use it through Aquaforest, which is cool.
I wonder if they have done a deal with Reef Factory, or it's a clever move. If you go, look, we can be your new ICP. Their customers are now looking for a new ICP company, aren't they? So they're like, come to us. We'll do the first one free, and then the rest and then people will just keep coming.
ICP is a sort of thing that you don't necessarily change. So you just choose one and then you stick with it because
that's what I mean.
Because the only like USP from ICP providers that I'm aware of in the UK is Reef Elements, because they turn it around 24 hours basically. Everyone else, like Triton, Tropic Marin, that have started doing one, and all the other ones, it's all they're much of a muchness. It's like, well, I'm sure they'll all tell you they're the best, but they're all basically the same. So you choose one and you stick with it because then they've got your history. So this is them getting a load of new customers, which is a good move. But it is costing them money, so fair play. But there you go. The only thing is you've got to do this by the 30th of June this year. So you got this month to do it. And you've got to have bought it, unfortunately. I don't know about you. I don't keep my receipts for ICP tests. No,
I don't.
So if I had one, it's going in the bin. But even if you haven't got a receipt, email them, because I'm guessing, because this doesn't count. This doesn't cover shops. Okay, so if a shop said, "Hey, we got 100," tough luck. So I'm guessing that's part of the reason they want. Well, the reason they want the receipts is to check the date, because if you bought one after they went bankrupt, that's on you basically, and also to check that you're a customer basically. And the 19th of May was actually I thought that was a reasonable date. So we did the live stream. Our live stream went live the week before that. And I'm not saying that everybody in the hobby watches our live stream, because that's clearly not the case. But that wasn't like, they've not chosen the earliest date possible. So well done, Aquaforest. And that is actually, that's the end of the news. I acted like there was loads. News. I know. Yeah, there wasn't. That's the thing. So last week I was like, there's not that much news, and so nothing's urgent. I think will agree that none of that was urgent.
Yes.
Actually, apart from the Aquaforest one, in which case you've lost a week to get your ICP test.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
So if you're on holiday for a month and you're away, you've lost it.
Yeah.
But there we go. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about, Ryan? We've got 21 minutes.
Not particularly, if I'm honest. We could have an early one.
RO Man is another shout from the.
Actually, yeah, I've used them as well.
I think I've used RO Man. I feel like I got some of their stuff off eBay. But yeah, I was actually Viair. Thinking about it, Viair is where I currently get, and have done for years. I get my DI resin because they sell mixed bed color change DI resin, which is hard to come by in the UK.
I don't buy the fancy one.
No, I like
too
the posh
expensive.
stuff.
I like the cheap one.
Yeah, okay.
I have a TDS meter that tells me if I need to change it, not a visual.
But you got to turn it on, haven't you?
Yeah, it's hard to press the button, isn't it?
Oh God, yeah. I haven't got time to press a button, Ryan. God.
Yeah.
I haven't done a water change on either of my tanks this week.
I'm doing a water change right now.
So,
weirdly, I don't know why. 15 minutes before the start of every, as you know, well, 15 minutes before I start talking to you, which is half an hour before the live stream, isn't it? Every week I do a water change. I don't know why. It's like the most rushed water change, but it mixes the salt while on the live stream, and I can go turn the valve, and it's done it now.
That's really good. I do like that. Yeah.
So,
okay.
400 litre water change, 15 minutes.
Happy days. Well, so next week we have a guest. We have Aaron's Aquarium, Michael Aarons.
Yeah.
Oh, in fact, so I saw a thing on Instagram of him the other day. He's currently on his current channel. On his channel, he's called it Michael Aarons, and he does half of the stuff is running stuff, half the stuff is aquarium stuff. And people who have tuned into his tank for running for aquariums are like, don't care about that. So he's split it now. So you're only going to get running stuff on the running channel that he's going to set up, and he's only going to do aquarium stuff on the aquarium channel. So there you go.
I spoke to Mike. I spoke to Mike on the way back from the wholesaler the other day, and he is getting more and more back into it, I think. I don't look, this is not a hobby, that it's like a slippery slope. It's not something that you can just like dabble in. So I'm looking forward to next week. Sometimes I'll talk to Mike on the way back from the wholesalers. I've done it the last 2 times, and it's literally like an hour. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes when, obviously, with the 3 of us, if you see.
Well, what we're going to talk about, he suggested talking about how the hobby's changed in the last 5 years, 4.5 years he's been out of the hobby.
Good idea.
That'll be really interesting because it's all fresh for him. But the other thing I suggested was that me and him could just take the piss out of you for 2 hours. So
yeah, good luck. Yeah.
Thanks.
So, yeah. Don't worry, I'll be on top form then. I'll be on top form, Okay. Send it all back.
Yeah, very good. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up there then. But
East Coast people said your mic is way more sensitive.
I'll watch it back after.
That's fine. I've heard plenty of this. The teeth thing you do. Yeah, I've heard plenty of that this time, which I'd never normally notice.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Anyway, I'll watch it. I'll listen to it back. Right. Cheers, guys. Catch you later.
See you later. Bye.